welcome to Alpha Militaria TV. Thanks very much for tuning in once again. My name is Richard Saunders. Now, as I always do, I want to say a very heartfelt thank you to all of our regular subscribers. And if you've come across us perhaps for the first time, to subscribe as well. And if you like what you see, to hit the like button. Now, if you go onto our website, which is alphamilitaria.com, you'll find a whole bunch of articles and features on a whole range of airgunning topics. You'll also find our store there, where you can buy scopes and other airgun accessories. And down below, you'll find some links to our Discord channel, where we have lots of good airgun chat going on, and also to some Amazon pages for some products that I use on a regular basis. Now then, we have got, in the last video, we did a review on probably the cheapest PCP rifle on sale at the moment, the Hatsan Vectis, 295 quid. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. And in this video, we're doing probably the smallest PCP on sale right now. It is the Ataman BP17 Micro Bullpup, very aptly named, imported into the UK by Sure Shot Airguns, and has a recommended retail price of £1,099, made by Ataman in Russia, and it is a really distinctive little thing. Comes with either this lovely walnut stock, or you can either get a black or olive green coloured soft touch stock as well. Fully powered, really delightful to shoot as well. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to run through the rifle from back to front as we usually do. Not that that's going to take very long. And then we will zoom in on some of the key features and then go through the whole air filling process, the magazine filling process. And then we'll take it down on the range down at Reading Air Target Shooting Club, put a few pellets through it, and see how it shoots. So the Ataman BP17 Micro Bullpup then, we should start very obviously with the vital statistics. Now this rifle is only 605 millimeters long, so that's just over 2 feet long, which is really tiny, but the pull, the distance between the shoulder and the trigger, is about 13.5 inches, which is pretty standard, to be honest. So in the shoulder, it doesn't feel tiny at all. Now, at the back, you have this solid rubber curved shoulder pad. There's no adjustment in it. You don't really need any adjustment, to be perfectly honest. Then on top, you have this sort of kind of straight cheek piece. There's no adjustment in the cheek piece, but I found I had very good eye alignment to escape anyway. Now, the magazine, you get 2 7-shot magazines. The magazine fits into the breech here, and is below the level of this cheek piece, so it doesn't stick proud of it at all. It doesn't kind of jab you in the cheek or anything like that, which makes this a very ambidextrous rifle. Now there's a large cutout here for your hand, and that gives you access to this pistol grip. Now there's no checkering or stippling on the pistol grip, but you do get these sort of contoured finger grooves here, and makes it very comfortable to hold. Now you can shoot this with a thumb up grip, but to be honest, wrapped around is the most comfortable grip that I've managed to find. Now the trigger is a metal trigger, fully adjustable, 2 stages, and it's a nice metal trigger blade. It's quite a straight trigger blade, but quite nice and broad as well. Now I found this a little bit light when it came to me out of the box, but I was able to adjust it very easily, and the stop between the 2 stages is very defined, and then it lets off very crisply and cleanly as well. Now above that, up here, you have a safety catch. You push it from the right to the left to make the rifle live, and then to make the rifle safe, you push it from the left through to the right. Now on this side, you'll see there is a side lever just up here. Now the side lever can be swapped from from left-hand side to right-hand side very easily, making this, as I say, a very ambidextrous gun. Now what's interesting about this rifle is that because it's so short, the side lever is articulated to move forward. So normally you pull the side lever from the front to the back to cock the rifle. On this one, you pull it from the back to the front. Now, it does sort of push home quite nice and securely. It's not really sprung in any sense at all. And it's the only part of the rifle that I found initially a little bit disappointing, because it sort of feels quite kind of what's the right word? Sort of, kind of a little bit sort of tinny, a little bit loose. Works absolutely fantastically, but you don't kind of get that same sense of real high quality mechanical engineering that you do on some other rifles. Having said that, the drop down handle is very nice to hold. It cocks effortlessly, and I found myself using it very, very quickly, and any misgivings about the quality of it just disappear straight away. It's a very, very good side lever. Now, on top you have this Picatinny scope rail, obviously set quite far forward on the for the dimensions of the gun. Now, it does make scope choice a little bit tricky. Now, initially I put a SWAT prismatic, an MTC SWAT prismatic scope on here. Zero eye relief scope. I thought that would be ideal for this, but I found myself kind of reaching forward to get eye relief on it. And then I put a sort of a traditional scope on it, and it just looked enormous. So I ended up with this MTC Copperhead scope, which is a traditional eye relief scope. I think it's got a 90mm eye relief, but it's really, really short and compact. They do a 4:16 and a 3:12 by 44, and that just suits this absolutely perfectly. And when you put it up to your shoulder, and say the pull is a standard length pull, and that fits really, really nicely. And although there isn't a massive forend for this rifle, you know, you've got this short piece here forward of the trigger guard, and it's really, really comfortable to hold. Now, the barrel is 370mm long, so that's a fairly, you know, good length barrel, especially on such a tiny little rifle. Now, there's no provision to attach a silencer to it, but you have this very, very thick, chunky shrouding on, you know, what you can see of the rifle, see of the barrel, and I guess we'll see how good a job that does of quietening things down. But I actually quite like the fact that you're not intended to put a silencer on this, because the whole point of buying this rifle is if you're going to be in a vehicle or a hide or moving around buildings and any kind of confined environment, you're going to want a short rifle, and the last thing you want to do is to then have to sort of plonk on a great big silencer on the end of it. So I'm really pleased that it keeps this sort of very light, compact form. Now, as I said before, you get 2 magazines. The magazines are stored, you can store them underneath here. You can actually get, I think, 4 magazines stored underneath the scope rail here, and a 5th in there. So they take 7 shots each. That's as many as 35 shots to hand if you need it. Right, and then finally, you have underneath here, sort of, it's quite hard to see, but deeply recessed underneath the forend is the air pressure gauge. And then on the, a little bit deceptive this, the filler probe is actually this little hole here on the left hand side. Now, when you fill it, Ataman says that you can take it will take up to a 300 bar fill, and they will give different shot figures for different fills, sort of 200, 250, 300 bar fills. Now, I have been using this with a 250 bar fill, and I've been getting about 75 shots in 177 and around about sort of 85, 90 in 2.2. And that comes from the 110cc air cylinder. Right, with that, I think that's all the main points. We'll zoom in on a few of those now. Then we go through the magazine and the air filling system. Now you get 2 fill probes with the BP17, and as with quite a few Eastern European guns, you know, that's a fairly typical thing. Now, one of them is like sort of molded to snap directly onto a quick fit fitting, and the other one actually has a thread on the end of it to screw directly into an air hose. And what I've done is I've just added this silver aftermarket attachment onto that. Now to actually fill the rifle, the probe goes into the port on the right hand side of the rifle. I think I might have said mistakenly it goes in on the left before, but it goes into the right hand side. And say use the one that snaps into the this quick fitting attachment, pushes straight into the port on the left hand side. Now I've been given this about a 250 bar fill. Which is not quite there. Got about 220 in my tank. And then once you've filled the rifle, simply remove the probe. Now there's no bung or cap or anything to go into the port here, but it's quite deeply recessed, so you do get an element of protection from dirt and grime and what have you. Now the magazine is really quite tiny. It's almost like a pistol magazine, rotary magazine. It's like a mini version of an HW100 magazine, held in place with a couple of O-rings around it. Now there's like a rough side, I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a sort of a roughened side here, which is the back of the magazine, and then the front is smooth. And to fill it, it's a simple case of taking the magazine so the rough side is facing you, and then just putting the pellets in, pushing them into the chambers in any order that you like. 3, 4, 5. Now, as I say, you get 2 magazines with the rifle, and you have storage for 4 magazines underneath the scope rail and a 5th one in the breech. So you've got 35 shots to hand if you invest in a few extra magazines. Right, but that's the magazine filled. We'll show you how to install it into the breech now. Now, I suspect this is going to be a very cat-handed way of showing you how to insert the magazine, but we'll give it a go. Now, the first thing to note is that the safety catch won't operate unless the rifle is actually cocked. So you can't put the safety catch on before cocking the rifle. But anyway, to insert the magazine, first of all, pull the side lever back, and then this magazine is empty now. So with the rough part facing back towards you, just insert it into the breech up here. You may need to just give it a little bit of a wiggle to seat it properly, and then return the side lever, and then you can put the safety catch on. Well, there you go. That's our quick rundown on the Ataman BP17 Micro Bullpup. What I'm going to do now is jump in the truck, head down to Reading Air Target Shooting Club, put some targets up and see how it shoots. I'm done at Reading Air Target Shooting Club once again with the Ataman BP17 Micro Bullpup. I put a target out at my usual 30 meters, and I'm using Air Arms Diablo field pellets. They're 177 caliber, 4.52 size. Now it's only a 7-shot magazine, but we'll see how it shoots. Last one. Well, that didn't look too bad at all. Well, you've got to be pleased with that. Let me just turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. So that is 7 shots at 30 meters, all but one just on the edge of the bullseye there. and that's got to be a, I don't know, not even fingernail size group. Very impressive. Well, there you go. That is the Ataman BP17 Micro Bullpup. Incredibly accurate, as you've just seen. And I think that's down to the fact that because it's so short, it's very hard to pull off target, because the lack of any length doesn't accentuate any movement off the target. Bang on the legal limit as well. Well, I had this on the chronograph. It's 11.37 foot-pounds, which is very acceptable. And it's a little bit loud, but I certainly have no qualms about taking this hunting or using it in the garden at all. And as I say, I think the fact that it's so short, it would be spoiled if you put a silencer on the end of it, to be honest. The 7-shot magazine is a little bit of a restriction, because I think we're used to sort of 12, 14-shot magazines, but you do get 2 of them. And if you buy a few more, you can store as many as 5. So you've got 35 shots to hand quite easily as well. But anyway, I hope you found it useful. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you'd like more information on this rifle and a whole host of airgunning topics, check out our website, which is alphamilitaria.com. Thanks for watching.